time for Friday Night Marketing! We're gonna rock! We're gonna roll! Rock and roll! Get real and bold! Come on, join the show now! Join the show! It's about to unfold! Get raw, get real, get results now! Results now! We're the latest feel, making waves loud! All days loud! On this stage, we ignite! Every Friday night, brand new fight! Get real, get results now! We're the latest feel, making waves loud! Always loud! On this stage, we ignite! Every Friday night, brand new fight! In the spotlight, feel the fever! Every pitch and quest! Dreams are big, get bigger tonight. Push the limits, reach new heights. So grab your seat, don't blink an eye. 'Cause Friday night will touch the sky. And now, welcome! It's time for Friday Night Marketing Raw! Good evening, or afternoon, or morning, or whatever the freaking time it is where you are. It's Friday night in the UK. It's 10 o'clock here, and that means it's time for Friday Night Marketing Raw, the show that's about you and us and whatever. You'll notice Kurt's not here yet. I don't know where he is, but I'm sure he'll be here soon. And scrolling along the bottom and also in the chat is the link where you can come and actually join us on camera and say hello and talk some marketing stuff. And we will be doing a couple of usual check-ins that we do. We'll be streaming live on the YouTubes as we are now for about the next hour to hour and a half. It depends, really. There are no set rules on this show. It depends who comes on and what happens, and we never know one week to the other. That's what makes it fun. And I hope some of you missed us last week. So we took a week off last week. But Kurt is on the way. He will be here in a moment. So Kurt will be joining us. And as we say, the invite is there down the bottom, and we do encourage you. And also share this out. Tell people you're watching it. Go and tell people in any marketing groups you might be in hey, come over here and watch this shit. You might like it. Who knows? You probably won't. So while we wait for Kurt to come in, I think one of the things we can get out of the way is one of the most important questions that we ask on Friday Night Marketing Raw every week. So this is... Has George Wigan given David Kirby his money back yet? Of course he fucking hasn't. And that was... Has George Wigan given David Kirby his money back yet? Tune in next week for another update. That's all I can say. Hi, Kurt. Good to see you.
How you doing?
I am doing good. Doing good. Had a busy afternoon. Friday's still one of my busiest days of the week because I have various engagements in the morning, then I get back and we go straight into the live on Society 11. If you're not in Society 11 yet, why not? Exactly. We do two lives a week in there, and we deep dive some stuff. So, so we do that, and then I've got various other things on, and then this comes up. I do have a little bit of a gap now, which is nice, because when this used to be 9, it was getting a bit, when the Iron Pub was 9 o'clock, it was getting a bit tight. At least I do get a half hour to an hour to myself before I have to go live now.
Well, that is nice. I got this afternoon to myself, and for some reason I decided to take a nap. I don't know why.
Naps are good. If you're taking time off, naps are good. I highly recommend naps. And
I was sitting in my chair watching a video that I was wanting to learn, and fell asleep in the middle of it. It could be I'm finding out those who have a monotone voice, very similar to mine, put me to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay. So I watch at night going to bed because I have tinnitus. I put in earbuds corded to an iPad, and I play on YouTube Shinzu, The Art of War. And the man that does it have a very deep baritone, monotone voice.
Yeah.
And there's no extra special sound effects or anything else. Within 15 minutes, I'm asleep.
I normally have the radio on quietly, but I set the volume so I have to pay attention to listen, to hear it. And of course, then you just start while you're focusing with your eyes shut. Eventually, you just go, and it doesn't take very long at all normally.
Right.
And then, I know certain things, and that's why I always say to people about doing videos. If you're going to make a sales video or something, I do have a different. It's just an up-tempo version of me that I switch into, because I'm aware that even if I think I sound good when I'm on video, when I play it back, it's always flatter than I thought. So this was something that Russell Brunson used to teach in his webinar training. He used to say, just pump it up and get in there. And I do. And you'll often, this is a little bit more than I would talk. When Kurt and I are chatting behind the scenes, it's far more laid back. But when I'm on here, it's a little bit more animated and whatever. If I'm doing a sales video, I take it up another notch. And it becomes, hi guys, Andy Brocklehurst here. I don't know if I got something exciting to tell you. And I'm into that mode, and that's just all part of marketing and part of what we do.
Exactly.
You can learn to put the inflections in. Didn't come naturally to me. And I would, honestly, simple things like go get involved. See if there's a local drama group where you live. If you didn't do drama when you were at school, go see if there's a local drama group. You don't have to do anything on stage in front of people.
Right.
These things are great. And I did a lot of amateur dramatics for a while because it taught me these things. And I learned to project my voice and to put emphasis and to expression motion, so it was obvious that's what I was trying to express. And all those things come in really useful.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Very much so, and very quickly.
Yeah, like a phone voice. That's a very good. Yeah, exactly. We've all got phone voices and things like. Well, not all of us. Some people do. And it was funny. My grandmother, when she was alive, she had sort of quite a Londonish. It wasn't real. It wasn't like all right, love. It wasn't like that. But it was quite. It wasn't posh or anything. But then she would answer the phone, and it just go from this. All right, I'll just go and get the phone. The phone's ringing. Hang on. Collingdale to do. It was like, who the fuck is that? So yeah, but people do have telephone voices, don't they?
Yes. Oh, 1-800-444-2121. That's 1-800-444-2121. Yes, I do.
But they see that's exactly it. But you learn to that's you've got inflection there when you do it like that, and
Right.
it is an acting job. We don't naturally know how to, and that's what makes people get better at sales videos. Is you don't have to worry about how you're appearing, because I normally do them without me on them now. I just have a photo of me maybe and a headline, and it's me just talking. And then when I do those, I've got to be up another notch, because they can't see me, and they can't see this and this and this and this and whatever I'm doing. So you need to inflect that in as well. But honestly, it's really interesting, isn't it, that marketers will come in and they'll want to buy all the latest system on XYZ, and you just go, have you ever gone and picked up a book on acting? Have you ever gone and had a look at a course on public speaking? Have you ever? And they go, no, I don't want to be a public speaker. Nor do I. I tell you what, you learn things from those people. And there are tricks that anyone can do. You don't have to be good at it. You can just use these tricks and things, and then it just comes with practicing it. And a good way of practicing that would be to click the link down in the thing that says join us on StreamYard / whatever that is, and you can come on, join us live on the show. Put on your best telephone voice if you like, darlings. Come on.
And I just updated the description. So if you refresh your YouTube view, in the description you can click it, or you could look over into the chat. It'll be the pinned comment on top.
Bonza. I love it.
And I'm actually making it a mission. I'm going around inviting people, saying you need to join us now. I noticed we got a few people watching now, which is nice. So
I'm going to throw a question out there. Question of the week.
Ooh.
And this is because I was thinking earlier about various sites that we often go and take a look at. But you and I have spent some time this week, because we've been messing around with Snapify and finding out all the things it can do.
Yeah.
And we went down some paths of, we could use it for an affiliate thing, we could use it for a bonus thing. So we went and looked up just any old CAC products on Warrior. What we did, we looked at those that were in the top 10 or top 25.
Right.
My question is this. What the fuck's going on Warrior Plus? I mean, those products, let's be honest, we were hard pushed to actually find. We made all these little things to see if we could do it. Right. We were hard pushed to find any one that we would want to actually promote.
Jeremy Kennedy's was the one that
I think that was okay. But all this, crikey. And the sad thing though, here's the thing. Jeremy Kennedy is pretty good, right? But I think last time I looked, that was on like 250 or 500 units.
Right.
Came out the same time as Gizmo from Billy Dahl, which did 1,000 units on the first fucking day.
I know.
And is a crock of shit. I mean, and so all the products on at the moment just seem the same to. And I'm like, honestly, I mean, I get people are suckers, but honestly, it's like some of them it's like, why do you need to buy their course? I mean, it's like they normally tell you what it is anyway. I found a way of making a landing page using ChatGPT. Well, fucking go to ChatGPT and just type "make me a landing page." It'll make you one. It's not hard. You don't need a course on that, do you, knob? the quality of the product overall that we looked at, either it was so obvious that they were fake. One of them, we went to YouTube and we're looking at review videos because we had this idea. Simple idea, for example. We used to do this for landing pages years ago. You can do it with Snapify and other things now. Simple idea is that you grab somebody else's review video, especially if you can cut out the beginning and the end where they might talk about their own site. So they talk about the review. You can do that, for example, with iFramely that we mentioned earlier. You can do it with a number of other tools that exist out there. You can do it by just tweaking the YouTube embed code. And so what you do, you put one of these videos out, it's not your video, and then you put your buy button underneath it with your affiliate link. And then people go to the page, they watch the video. You haven't had to make a video, you're only embedding, you're not breaking any rules, and it's your thing. And so we were, oh, really? There you go. There's a little tip for everybody we'll throw out there from Tom Clark there. But
nice.
And and look who is going to come in and see us today. I don't want to see him because his camera rarely works, but I expect we might hear from him. It's the man German himself. It's Volker. Don't mention the war, Schoenfeld.
And we can't hear him.
Yeah.
There he is.
Just one moment, because I have it twice in my ear, because YouTube was running and StreamYard.
Oh,
which is a nice echo.
Well, then you were twice pleasantly surprised.
Probably not. All in one
Hi,
ear.
Ellie. Good to see you.
So, hello, Ellie. Hello, Tom. I've seen that you were commenting. I'm how to say, probably you have noticed that I was very, very quiet, especially the last 2 months.
Yes. I mean, to be fair, you did tip me off that you had a lot of personal stuff going on, and you were okay, which is all I really cared about.
But
and it did mean that if anyone asked after you, I just went, I know he's got a lot going on. Oh my goodness, a week earlier than we expected. It's Stephen Miller.
Fully crowded.
Not yet. We can hold up to 10 in here, so we're not fully crowded yet.
So just let me close that.
Okay.
It was going back to normal, and I know that I'm lacking a lot of things, and I have to say sorry to a lot of people, but you will be surprised what will be the outcome. And it should have been back last week, but then, well, you know that Traffic Wave decided to cease existence. So
I knew you weren't going to be happy about that news.
Right.
Well, 20 years of marketing, of email marketing, had to be saved.
I know.
It was short notice, number one.
Very short notice, yes.
I'm really glad that
they're around $100.
Pissed me off enough, so I actually moved off there a little while ago, and so I didn't have too much. I was already transferred everything that needed transfer.
They're about $100 of commissions. I think I can say goodbye to them, but anyway, that's life. That happens. Not that pissed about the commissions, but definitely that I have to move 20 years of marketing, of email marketing.
Right.
It's one of those things, because I nearly bought into it because it was so bloody cheap.
Yep.
And yet, you know, it's one of those things. We've seen them before, we've seen them come and go, and yet every time one pops up, you think, well, maybe this one's one that's going to kind of keep going. I did think that there are people. They were the first. Yeah, they were the first people. They were the first email people I really had a subscription with, because they have been in business 25 years now. But my personal estimation, so don't give anything on it, not confirmed by any ways, is that the underlying code was so bloody old that it couldn't be keeping up with the latest changes. That is a possibility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a really common problem. I mean, it's like one of the things that, and this is why we've said for a while now, any SaaSing has to be an ongoing. There has to be, even if it's a low annual fee, there needs to be something, because you have costs. It's like and some of the PHP updates that come out are pretty much forced on us now.
Yeah.
I mean, with my host, I've got a lot of control, but they will say things like, we obviously highly recommend that. We can't guarantee the security of the server otherwise. So you upgrade. And so often when these PHP changes come now, certainly some of the most recent ones, you actually have to go through and sort lots of depreciated code and rejig things and whatever else. Whereas in the early days of PHP, one of its biggest benefits is it was backward compatible.
Right.
Now it's lost that now.
Yeah. They made two big cuts, one at 5.6 and now with 8.0. A lot of function have been deprecated.
Okay. Even between 8.0 and 8.3, there are significant changes that will break things if you don't know about it.
I haven't updated to 8.3 with some of my servers, so they're still on 8.2 running good. So I haven't dared about that. But I've seen in Max AI you're coding with ChatGPT, and sorry, you're using the wrong tool, because updating codes and other things. Claude, go to Claude. Claude is so much better. And since yesterday, I had Claude 3.5 Sonnet waiting for 3.5 Opus, and it's even better. If I have time, I probably will record one thing I will do for the Kindle stuff, the landing page. I will totally program that with Claude, text to code in Bootstrap, and it will work brilliant. I've sent Kurt an example yesterday.
I'll take a look at that, because I haven't revisited Claude for a few months. I was when in the earlier days of it, I kept going back and forth, and then ChatGPT brought out big advances, and I mean, obviously, what I demonstrated for Max AI News was how to do it in a general ChatGPT session. What I actually have myself is a GPT I've written, and what it has is all my basic rules that I always want any snippet to follow. So it must sanitize input and output for security purposes. It must. So I've got that, and so now I can go to that and say, give me a bit of code that will do this, and it will automatically always adopt those things as a priority. And it does a really good job. So in actual fact, I don't sit there doing even 4 prompts in ChatGPT. I do about 2 using one GPT, and I've got
right.
Funny thing with Claude is you take a screenshot of your favorite website and say to the new Claude, code me this.
Really, you do that? That's quite impressive.
It works. I've tried it with simple ones, with squeeze pages. You have to fine tune it a little bit, but it works.
Oh, whoops! Didn't mean to do that.
Yeah, and that's really a great thing. So, of course, it works better when you have a basic understanding of code. But even as a total noob, you can do that. You're just typing it in. No, I don't want to make that form bigger. Make that graphic a little bit smaller. Take these things. And the big difference between Claude and ChatGPT was I like to get my pages in Bootstrap, because for me personally, that's the set that makes the best responsive, compatible websites.
It's really clean too.
Yeah,
Bootstrap.
And
I mean, I know some people don't like this, think it's a bit limited. I think actually sometimes, being one of the things I love about Kurt's new thing, Snapify, by being forced to work in a set of restraints, it actually makes life easier because you can't overthink it.
Yeah, and ChatGPT gave me Bootstrap 4.2, I thought, so quite a bit an old version, and Claude directly went with 5.3. Very clean Bootstrap code. I really, really, really love it.
Awesome. And Mr. Stephen, we weren't expecting to see you today, but
I wasn't expecting to come on, but I did. The notification popped up on thingy, and I have been making my thumbnail for tonight.
Mhm.
So you've seen the Doctor Who things that I've the things. Those are thumbnails for me.
Right.
And they do well in the Doctor Who community because that's what people
Yeah.
like.
Well, they also do good in the very well in the BBC. I've seen.
I have been having
Yeah.
some luck on the BBC. Yes, that's been rather nice.
That's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it is actually. It is. So in
No
this
understatement. You can be proud of that.
in this last month, I've been featured on both the BBC and in SFX magazine for the London After Midnight stuff I've been doing, which is
That's amazing.
I mean, yeah. So I was doing that, and I saw the notification come up, and I thought, well, I'll because I'm just about to finish that, and now I've got to wait until 12 o'clock for the actual program to be on. So I thought, well, we have to come along and say hi.
Yes.
Yes. Well, while you're here, and we've got fill people in. Obviously, we know, but talk about it as if you're telling people that don't know about what you've been working on and your upcoming product.
I've been well. This is something that has annoyed me for years. I remember when I first started in the industry, in inverted commas, that I was promoting stuff for Chris, and we could find maybe 3, maybe 4 products every single day that we could go, all right, we can try this out, and maybe tomorrow we'll try something different. And if there wasn't quite something one day, there'd be something the next day. Now you can't find them. Maybe you can find 4 products a month if you're lucky. And a good chunk of the reason for that is that some people who are putting out some really good products can't write copy at all. So they've got the bit in the book. Kurt's put his hand there. Protocopy, and it's a hell of a lot better than some of the stuff that makes it onto Munchlight. Some of the JB pages that have so much stuff missing that you can't promote it just because you don't know what you're promoting. And so I thought, well, let's do something about writing. I was a jobbing writer for 10 years solid. Let's do something about copy because I've been writing copy. And all of the products that I've done so far have been, this is what I do. How can I get that allow somebody to do something similar without all of the work that I've got to do, which means learning skills and things like that. Right. And obviously, the answer is ChatGPT because it's free to everybody and it actually gives some pretty good results. So I started playing with it I suppose it's been about 5 months now. Started playing with it about February time, I suppose. Mm-hmm. And came up with this series of prompts. I learned a lot about it. I listened to podcasts about ChatGPT. That is the weirdest thing I ever thought, that somebody is talking on an audio format about a format that you've got to type into a computer.
I know. Crazy. And I've done the same. Exactly. That was what Kurt and I threw ourselves into prompt engine because we knew it was going to be big. And we knew that things we were doing would come to rely on it probably in some way. So that's why we study it as much as we do. And I'm always listening to things. And Kurt and I swap videos and what do you think of this? What do you think of this? And we go and test things. And the ones that we think are really good, we share in other places. But a lot of them, not as good as we thought. But I've listened to hours of bloody podcasts on that.
So at first you can even talk to ChatGPT, at least in the mobile app, and so it's not only typing. And second, and that comes to another point you spoke before about that idiotic AI products you find on the usual places, let's call it this way, because there are many of them, which are basically stupid user interfaces with prompts.
Oh yeah.
Why just take the prompts and do all things? So both are great. How many AI writers do you have? You basically, I have ChatGPT Pro, I have Claude Pro. I use ChatGPT for non-fiction writing and Claude for fiction writing, which it does extraordinarily well.
The Hugh Hughes is on the YouTube.
What's up, who you?
And this is I wrote a story for Kurt. I will make one for you, Andy, too, and one for you, Steve, too. So probably for you, Steve, in the Doctor Who universe, and for a crime scene, first transgender DCI in Dorset.
Okay.
No, Dorset, yes, Dorset,
Yes,
not Devon. I always mix
Go
those
for
up.
it. Yeah, I would love to look at that. And I tell you what,
Yeah.
Kurt and I may have to have a conversation with you at some point, because as you know, we have a product called Write Up Online, which does really good non-fiction books. What it doesn't do is fiction. We've never tried to make it do fiction. We've had ideas for fiction books. It's gone back and forth with the developer. We've never managed to really nail it down. Which is why we've not pursued it. I said to Kurt, who needs to be the best at what it does? It's a non-fiction book, right? Let's just nail ourselves up. And if we ever bring out a fiction one, we'll do it on a different brand, because it's such a different thing. And the ones that currently claim to do both, they don't. They do neither well.
What I sent to Kurt, that was my reduction directly on the Lester Dent formula. So around 6,000 words, the whole Lester Dent structure, all that. It takes less than 10 minutes to go one. It's not one prompt. It's a consecutive prompt order. But if you stay in the if you stay in the same
one, I think a lot of people try and do it in one and it doesn't turn out right, and then they give up, and that's.
If you stay in the same chat, you can also make any kind of reference to former stories. So it's really good. Yeah, it's very interesting. And I did that all with the.
I'm going to have to try Claude having heard what you're saying.
3.5 Sonnet is also in the free Claude version, so you can make basically one book, and then you have to wait a few hours. So you have if you do your 3 Amazon books a day, you can make one fiction story with Claude, and then you do 2 non-fiction or shorties with ChatGPT. And then you're done for the day. And
that's a pretty good workload for.
Yeah, you have to put your own fantasy a little bit in. It makes good crime stories. I tested it mostly on crime stories because of Lester Dent. But if you put your own fantasy a little bit, and for example, for the Kurt story, I put in a metaphysical connection with one of his native ancestors, Red Feather, Chief Red Feather. So you can put a little bit of David Lynch into it and all that. So all work fine. But if you do the full David Lynch, it's hard to get it on 6,000 words. You need at least probably 6,000. So yes, creative minds like you have one, Steve, will be totally overwhelmed what Claude can do in writing.
I'm glad Steve's doing the course he's doing, because I considered doing one because I love sales copy, and obviously I have adopted ChatGPT to assist me in some of it, and I've also figured out prompts that help along the way. And I thought I could teach this stuff, but honestly, I'm so backed up, I just don't have time. And I thought, and I've been going for a while, someone needs to put out a decent, because I've seen several people claim to do it, and the things they offer are shit. So I'm looking forward to
it was
this.
really important for me for somebody to be able to get hold of it and actually use it and actually do something. Now I hope people can. I've not. I mean, it's gone out to people this week, but I've not tested it beyond me putting the prompts in and trying it. But every single time I've done it, it's brought back some good materials. So.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. The thing is, the other thing I think that you learn, just like you did from listening to hours of podcasts, and I mean, it was what Kurt and I have done, and then you distill down the useful bits to people, and you give them that prompt. Now, okay, you are saving them hours of time because you put in hours of research, but that can be enough to springboard their own creativity. Once they start to see a well-structured prompt and what a difference it makes, they can analyze it themselves. And that's a beautiful thing. That's how we got better. And it's been the smallest things. We were watching a video one day, and this guy had this one little line, and he explained it. And I can't remember now what the word is, but I know it's in our Who prompts. And it's a really word in English word. It's in the dictionary when you go and look at it. And it basically is a form of sentence structure. And when you specifically mention it, it stops doing these really bland paragraphs. And now you get this real mix of a 1-line paragraph and then a 2-line and then maybe another 1, then maybe 3-line paragraph, which is far more natural looking. It's how we actually write. And that's made a huge difference. And that one little thing, finding out what that was called so you could reference it specifically. And like when we've done sales copy ones in the past, we've only ever done little short form copy things, but it's been by knowing the different names for different methods, because it's, you know, obviously people know ADA and PASS, but there's hundreds of them. And when you know them and you realize ChatGPT knows them by those names, you just got to know what they're called. You can make it do the same thing.
Oh, ChatGPT knows the old style or modern style copywriters. Hello, Marlon. ChatGPT knows you. ChatGPT can write emails in your style.
Yeah, and you can use custom instructions as well, and sort of get the information about how somebody writes, put it into instruction, and then you are writing like them. You don't have to. You can add a line in front. All of my prompts have got lines in at some point that says "write like." I think I'm using Makepeace. I've rejigged it several times, so I'm not entirely sure exactly what's in there. But yeah, they're all. It's all sort of ways of making it do things that it wouldn't naturally do, but actually gives you much better results in the end. And when you can do that, it changes the way that you're thinking about using it in the first place.
I fed into a GPT all of my old, these are out of date, but all the old Profit Alchemy reports I did and the sales copy for them. And then said to it, write a new report about making money in a way that XYZ in that style, and do a bit of copy for it based on that as well. And what it spat out, I honestly it sounds like I wrote this. Now, the only issue with it was the method it cooked up was complete bullshit and wouldn't work in a million years. Now, and if I was Billy Dar, or I'd have released it, but I'm not.
What I don't like in today's IM business, especially MMO business, but most of IM, all kind of info products, is that almost no sales page would survive an FTC or comparable think check.
No,
that starts with the testimonials, go over the money claims. So if you really want to be FTC compliant, you have to do a little bit more. And if you think the FTC is not relevant for you because you're German or British or whatever, ask your money processor what nationality that is. You're getting faster kicked out from Stripe with an FTC compliance complaint than you think of it.
There's a product on at the moment, it's on Warrior Plus, and we were doing, because we were looking for these, making up little pages using other people's videos, like I was saying earlier. And we went to this one, we found a review, and I watched it, and I went, that's not a bad review. And then I found another review, and I watched it, and I went, that's not a bad review either, but it sounds familiar. And I watched a third review. The first one was an Indian man. The second one was an American woman. The third one, some other woman. 3 different people. The script was identical. Before I get this review about such and such, let me show you this demo of it. And it was this standard demo, but they narrated over the top of it in their own voice. And I was like, all of these people have done exactly the same fucking review, and that is so dodgy, isn't it? So it's not real at that point. And I was like, and that's why I said when I was saying earlier, what the fuck is going on these platforms these days? Nothing would. Volker's right. FTC, got to be kidding. And yet it's in people like Warrior Plus's terms of service that your page must have this, must conform to that, and whatever. And yet so many of them blatantly don't. Like there's that rule in that terms that it says you can't do a 1, 2, 3 if the 1, 2, 3 is like buy this, download it, make money or what. And yet you see that all the time on Warrior Plus sales pages. It's explicitly in their terms of conditions and their so-called quality checks.
Right.
Who's checking?
If you really want to,
the only
to,
thing it came back with is you need to have a contact link, which I've never had on the pages before because I literally copied the page that I used before. So headers and footers are always the same. Well, now they want a contact link, which is fair enough.
Yes. If you really want to stay yourself out of trouble, I'm quite sure everybody here knows Anik Singhal. And when I started out in my online business, it was Frank Kern who was brought behind bars by the FTC for ages ago. Or I started going full time in 1999. So like Andy, we're dinosaurs. And 2 or 3 years ago, the FTC ripped Anik Singhal a second one. And he at least tried to be compliant. He wasn't, as it turned out. And now he has especially a lawyer going after those commercial law and all that. And they brought a book out on the webpage don'tsaythat.com, and it's now also as a PDF for $7. Read it, check it with your sales page, and you are instantly striking off 2/3 of your text.
That's interesting. That is interesting.
The other thing I found quite interesting recently, and I think this is also a large part of how things are going with attention spans and stuff, but these long form copy that you've seen people pump on Warrior Plus, I mean, some of it's good numbers, but those numbers are dropping. And I'm finding things with shorter, much more direct copy these days is converting so much better.
Moment of truth for all. Moment of truth for all three of you. Who is reading the copy if you think about buying the product?
Well, if I think about buying a product, I'm reading the copy.
Yeah.
But we know that people who are buyers in this industry, they don't necessarily do that.
To be honest, I never read the copy.
That's why we've got buttons at the top of the page.
Well,
I never read the copy. For me, it doesn't matter if it's long copy or short copy. It's about two things. At first, do I get what the product is about? Mostly, I have to say no. I don't have to read the copy. Then, who's the vendor? Do I know the vendor? Do I respect the vendor? Here, another 98% goes off. So basically, I have 2 or 3 people which I'm really looking, and then I probably will read the copy.
Billy Dar, Mosh Barry,
right, exactly. He buys every single Moshberry product.
If it doesn't have a capital X or a capital Z or a double X or a double Z,
double R,
then I do. Then I have to buy it. Yeah, or double R, double capital R, definitely. If it has a triple X, then it's for you guys.
Yeah, that is a point, Steve. You might lose some sales on your new product because it's not called Copier.
This is true.
What it would be now is copy.ai.
Why didn't you with that logo? With that
point of not putting AI in it, of not going down that path, because firstly, people are getting fed up with AI courses that don't do the things that they say they're going to do.
Oh no, you look at everything, it's like people are it's like back in the day, for a long time on Warrior Plus, on their keywords, the top keywords were things like PLR, and one of them was WordPress. Yeah. And people just started jamming WordPress into everything, even if it was not anything to do with WordPress, but you could embed it in, or you could link.
That's what I used to do.
You link to a WordPress website from this. well, that's not mean. It doesn't mean it's for WordPress, but that's what they did just to get the. And I think that's what people think's happening with AI. They still think if I jam AI in the title, everyone wants it. That was the case for about the first month of AI being big. Now it's like, and in fact, some people adamantly are going, "We always say AI so shit." Yeah, because you're buying Chod off Warrior Plus, or JVZ, or it depends on the vendor.
Biggest problem is where you're buying from. I think more than anything else.
It's who's the vendor.
You're listening to us about what you should buy, and we're affiliate marketers. We just buy stuff.
Yeah, just buy. Just buy. It's okay.
Yeah,
You'll
if
be okay.
you don't get your daily dose of dopamine, you're not worth living.
The thing is, there's two
I
kinds.
don't buy
There's
anything
two kinds of affiliate marketing. There's I want to make money and I'll promote any old shit to anybody, and there's I actually am going to tell people about stuff I genuinely think is good, useful.
Mhm.
I mean, in my early days, I was telling people about the stuff I was using. Now, obviously, sometimes now a new thing can come along, and I've already got a solution. Now, the solution I use is a bit dated. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it today, but I've got all my data in. I'm not going to move.
Yeah,
But I can see the potential in the new thing, and I can promote it based on that. But there's always I'm always looking at. I've always taken the approach. If I promote something, I want people to be happy with it if they buy it and use it. You know.
Mhm.
And I know 80% of buyers don't even fucking download and use the stuff. But I still want those that do to be happy with it. And if they're not, I think that's a scam and you shouldn't do it. So I've always only promoted stuff I believe in, use, whatever. Does that mean it's all been gems? No. I've made some bad calls. You know, I saw a product. The product was great and it worked when I tested it. 3 weeks after launch, the server couldn't keep up and they didn't. You know, obviously I couldn't have predicted that.
Yeah,
But, you know,
It's so annoying. You test the product out. You've been given a product for a week before it launches. On launch day, the servers just cannot cope with the 4 or 5 people who've actually accessed the product.
Yes.
And the whole thing's fallen over.
Steve, please don't bluntly lie to us, because on Warrior Plus there's no product ready a week before the launch. Probably a week after the launch.
Dear. Well, that's
Oh,
true,
man.
because there is one.
Like, get my SaaS solution, run your whole business on it, and I'm running on a shared hatchling plan on HostGator.
But it's the XYZ killer.
Yeah, that's my favorite when it's
Yeah.
like the killer for something. I keep saying to people, what's this insistence that people think they got to take on some big thing they're not even close to? I've seen it a couple of times recently.
I am. No, not really.
No, but like, okay, here's an example. I know, and I don't mind if the people watching. It's nothing I wouldn't say to their face. Like one of our friends is promoting a video platform, and he's giving it away. So I mean, it's fucking free anyway, right? But they're trying to imply all the time it's better than Zoom, and I'm sorry, it just isn't. It just isn't. I've used both, and theirs for a free platform is fucking amazing. But you put more than half a dozen people on it, and you're watching. Just still, everyone freezes, and it still frames. It's like a telephone conference, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's fine. 4 people. If it's just 4 of us, like it'd be great. It worked fine. That was my personal experience. And I'm like, but why do you even want to be the Zoom killer? Why don't you just go? Our biggest selling point is there's no time limit. We're free, and don't compare yourself to let other people decide it's better, because that's what happens. But when you start coming out there going, we're trying to be the Zoom killer with something that clearly isn't, and you're a company that's like the size of a pea compared to Zoom.
The chances of you being able to do that in the first place is really rare. I mean, look at the amount of times that any one product across the whole of human history has overtaken another product. You've basically got Coke and Pepsi who will switch places depending on what part of the world you live. You know, that's it. For the most part, it's Coke has been on top for.
Yeah, Pepsi was only in the Soviet Union and China, but they lost that status also. So basically, everywhere it's Coke now.
There's a
But
few.
you know, just on Coke and Pepsi, really fascinating thing. And I think I heard this. Elon Musk was talking about it. Funny enough, it's marketing science. He said that there are places now they deliberately put the Coke and a Pepsi machine next to each other because the science behind it isn't all do I want a drink. It's now all do I want a Coke or a
Pepsi. Yeah.
And they say when they put them next to each other, both of their sales astronomically went up.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting? That's marketing science. And so now, even though they're competitors, they've actually got deals where their machines are put next to each other at sporting events and things. And that's why you'll so often see a Coke brand next to a Pepsi brand machine.
But here's the thing that I always find interesting is that Coke is the market leader in the UK. However, out of everybody that I know, they all drink Pepsi Max. It's the thing that they prefer. And yet, if you go into an establishment, you go into a restaurant or a bar or anything, you say, could I have a Coke? And they go, is Pepsi all right? You know what? If they could find in Britain, if they could find a way to use that in their marketing, they would have an amazing marketing campaign.
Yeah, yeah.
By the way,
interesting.
The same strategy.
Max,
yeah. Okay, Andy, go.
Pepsi Max. I did drink that until Coke Zero improved Coke Zero, and since then, I actually prefer the new Coke Zero. It's bloody amazing.
I've not tried the new Coke Zero. I've always found it a little bit, I don't know, a bit bland, I suppose. I used to drink Coke.
No, now I think it tastes as close to classic Coke. It doesn't have a diety taste. It doesn't have...
I have to try it.
Yeah. I'm sure it's got loads of shit in it that's really bad for you, because that's the only way I can imagine they've done it. There you go. Sorry, Falco, go on.
The same strategy, for example, is done by Aldi. I'm quite sure everybody knows the Aldi supermarkets. You have them in the UK. You have them even in Jefferson City, Kurt.
Yes, we do.
And when they are looking for a place, they are always looking for a ground or for where to build their supermarket next to a mega store. Because the mega store pulls the people in, and not everybody wants to go to a mega store. I'm just needing 3 things. Of course, you're buying more than 3, and I don't need the variety of 475 ketchup brands and tasters. I go in, buy ketchup, buy something that. So they're especially looking for premises next to a mega store. Not being the bottom feeder, but being what Kurt is doing with his products, being complement.
Yeah. I can't remember if it was Aldi or Lidl, but one of them had a really nice marketing campaign in the UK, which was they started out. It looked like a Tesco's advert, and it was basically Tesco's have price matched their things to. Let's say it was Aldi. Tesco's have price matched their things to Aldi, and the tagline was, "Why don't you just go to Aldi?"
Yeah,
and so because loads of adverts are, "Oh, we price matched this with it," and you're expecting it to be that other brand, and all of a sudden it's not.
When I was regularly traveling by car to and from Ukraine, I was crossing the border in via Slovakia. And in the first biggest city, Michalovce, a big Tesco was opened, and 6 months later, just vice versa, a big Kaufland opened. So that's the mega market sister of Lidl. And the variety is basically the same. The offer is basically the same, just that Kaufland was about 50% cheaper on average. Because Tesco thought they can have the high price policy they have in the UK, also in other parts of Europe, which clearly doesn't work if any German supermarket chain is a competitor, because here we have the most cannibalism market you can imagine. Walmart, the number 1 market in the US, tried twice to go to Germany and went out twice because they were running only losses. So, yeah, at least one thing here. We don't pay more here than in the rest of the world.
So Eddie in the chat has said this. So he said Internet Explorer was late to come out, but in the end it won the market. But did it though?
It won the market because it was coming with Windows. It was implemented.
Well, yes, it was implemented with Windows. Technology is a little bit different as well. Think of a product in silos, and the silo that Internet Explorer was in was different from the silo that So, yes, it became the major browser, but
one microphone is catching up a very lot of noises.
We're getting some feedback. Is that Kurt?
It's a phone of some description.
Hold on. I'll be right back.
All right. Okay. I'll mute Kurt. There you go. Carry on.
Yeah. Okay, Kurt looks strange.
Careful, that's how I started.
The market for Internet Explorer was different from the market for Netscape. The reason that Internet Explorer became the top of its silo was because it was the thing that everybody had access to automatically, and that was it.
But I think in the end, Chrome have really won the browser war in the end.
They have, absolutely. Yeah.
Now, I mean, I know Edge has actually got a bit more of a market share again now, but it's nowhere near what Chrome is.
That's not a normal transition between products. That's not what you normally, again, you might find that a car manufacturer becomes more popular than the other one. But we're still in that place where you have Hertz and Avis, and one of them is at the top.
Yeah, but why did Chrome won the browser market? Only because of the mobile devices. If you go in the desktop marketing share, browser share, I can only talk for Germany. Firefox is still by far the most used browser.
Well, I would say the Germans have probably got it right on that.
Yeah.
But no, I would say I have multiple browsers installed, and for StreamYard, I'm in Chrome because there's just extra features that don't work in Firefox with this.
Yeah.
But for regular web browsing, Firefox is my main browser.
Firefox and Safari are the only non-Chromium browsers at the moment which have a little bit of a market share.
Yeah.
Well, we are in a world right now where if you can't make it work for Chrome, it won't work for a lot of stuff. So, people develop on Chrome just because they need it to be as well.
I don't use Chrome at all. Not the Google Chrome because too much spyware in it for my taste. But I'm using Iron, which is basically Chrome without for decades now. Without the spyware, and it's so bloody close to Chrome that 99.9% of all extensions and whatever works on that. The only thing that I haven't that couldn't run on Iron is anything that uses other Google services, like for example those speech to text service Google offers. Here you have to have the original Chrome browser.
I did use Brave for a while because it genuinely did load everything quicker, and then that got bloated because they put all this other crap in it. And so in the end, I was like, well, if I'm going to have to use a Chrome browser at all, I'll just use Chrome, but I will use Firefox or something else the rest of the time. And that's exactly what I do. Works for me.
I have several browsers where I'm doing several things. So when for some reasons I still keep having Brave, for example, but only for some routine work, because I had all the bookmarks in Brave and somehow went with it. So when with Brave browser is open, I know, okay, here I have routine works. I'm not using Brave for normal surfing or whatever. I have Iron for for.
I just want to go back to Mr. Stevens' launch very quickly while we're on.
Yeah.
When's it come out? Tell everyone when it comes out.
Don't know yet. I'm waiting for the Warrior to approve it. As soon as they've approved it, which I'm hoping is going to be by the end of the weekend or soon, because they did come back and say you just need a contact link. The contact's linked in there. I've sent them back a thing, so it should.
Yeah, if it's just one change and you do it and send the thing, that it is normally fairly quick. So
yeah,
I expect that will get done before the end of today because they're 5 hours behind us.
I need to find a decent date at that point, which is not more than about 2-3 weeks away because I won't have any money at that point either. I really have gone right down to the wire with this, but it's been such a difficult year, and
don't talk to me about 2024, please.
Do you know, it was really fascinating to me about it. I said a lot of people have had. I've had a mental start to the year as far as I've had to take a lot of time out for a lot of things and a lot of reasons. Some I've spoken about, some I haven't. But the nature of what I do does permit me within reason to do that. The only mistake I made was I announced that I was going to deliver a load of stuff, and then all this shit happened, and I'm now behind them. But the people know I
have to deal with that, don't you?
I've kept everyone in the loop, and they know I have a history of I will deliver. It is just I've always staked my reputation on anything I've put out, so there's no question that it will get done, and they'll end up with more than they were offered. So that's fine, but. It's been really interesting, but at the same time, it's been one of the most. I was chatting to somebody the other day, who is kind of like a spiritual mentor, if you like. I suppose that'd be a good way of looking at it. And I was saying, I feel like at the moment I'm in this place where I'm feeling a bit stretched. But it's like growing pain. It's healthy stretching. It's growing pain. So although I'm going through a few struggles, I'm learning so much from them. And I think that's really what it's all about. Life sucks a lot of the time, but it's what you make of it.
I've just had this year where everybody's died. Well, it's been 2 years, and we're coming up in the next few weeks. It'll be the 2nd year anniversary of Dad passing.
Yeah,
and since that happened, I've had friends, family. I've been to 18 funerals in the last 2 years. It's been hell. It's been really, really bad. To the extent that 2 neighbours died at the beginning of this month within 3 days of one another. And obviously we had to go to their funerals and stuff. And my cousin had a heart attack last week. And it doesn't seem to let up, Yeah. And so every time you try and do something, you kind of get pushed into
I thought I was in a shit position when losing friends and family in the Ukrainian war, but it's 18.
Yeah. It's been 18 more
mental.
In many cases, one a month for quite a while, and then there was a little break, and then another. Several.
I haven't. Have I lost anyone? I haven't lost anyone super close this year yet. I've lost people that I knew quite well, but luckily, all my friends, family, and whatever, we've all had the conversation. They know I don't need closure. I don't go to funerals for that. The last funeral I went to, I only went out of support because it was a family that was very close to me. I was very close to the person that died, but I went to support them. I didn't need the closure myself. I don't need that from funerals. And most of my friends just have accepted it, and they know that I don't go to funerals.
It's unexpected.
I'm sure I would have lost money for Mum.
Yeah.
Now taking Mum.
Well, I'm just thinking, if I had 18 people die, I would have 18 families thinking what a cunt I was for not showing up, probably. Depends how well they are. Most of it. That's why I have the conversation with people. I go, there's nothing to be offended by. It's that I don't like being morbid. What I do, genuinely, I have lost people, and what I do, I will go somewhere that reminds me of something we used to do. So I lost a friend a few years back. that I used to work with. And when we used to work together in an office in Yeovil, in the summer months, we used to always go to a certain sandwich shop or a certain sandwich and eat it on the bench in the churchyard. So one summer, after a few months after he passed, I made a trip into Yeovil just to go in for that. And lunchtime, I went down to the sandwich shop, got the sandwich, and I went and I sat in the churchyard and I just remembered all the conversations we'd had. And that was my closure and my thing with him. I didn't need to go and see someone putting a box in the ground and sing morbid songs. I just don't do that thing.
Yeah.
And it's so, yeah. And it took me a long time to be brave enough to accept that's how I felt and to tell people. And since doing it, I've actually had other people, like my mum and dad aren't having a funeral. When they go, they've been picked up private crematorium and we can have the ashes if we want them. There is no funeral. And we've had that discussion because my brother and I don't want a funeral for them. We want to go and do something and celebrate their life.
Yeah, of course.
So that's all been agreed and everyone's happy with it. And I've actually said the same, and my daughter knows that I don't want a funeral. Well, you know, they're for the people left behind, but I'm hopefully will have everything in line where I will have a thing set up so that it'll be a private crematorium.
Yeah.
My daughter's okay with it. My parents spoke to us because they wanted to make sure we were okay with it because they realised that funerals are for the people that are left behind. So I had the same conversation with my kids.
That's what you really should do is it now and sort of check out early.
I make it really clear when I'm gone. For fuck's sake, don't be sorry I'm gone. Be glad it happened. You know, I've had an interesting time on this planet. I've had a good life. If I die tomorrow, and I don't want to exit the planet any sooner than it's necessary, I'm having a good time. But that's fine with me. You know, it really is. I've had a good life and I'm enjoying it. And I think that's what it's all about. It's a journey. And yeah, make the most of it while you're here. This isn't a rehearsal and we don't know how long we got. Live every day like it should last.
Yeah. Really.
The
one day you'll be right.
yeah.
But the only problem with that is that you can't say "I told you so." At that point, then it's just
that's like an understood you.
I'll be dead.
Well, that's like an understood you.
Well, Steve, if you're
a letter to a solicitor that must be opened on the event of my death. It just says, "I told you so."
Yep.
Yeah, or Steve, the Ouija board in your room is going to move itself.
Make a DVD of it instead of written letter. It can burn. You can put it on the internet at that point in time where the solicitor emails it out to everyone, and it tells everyone at the same time. Told you I was right.
There is, I think, a product somewhere in the vicinity that because. One of the things that I was thinking, because obviously death's been on my mind recently.
Really?
Yeah, funny enough.
You don't say.
The thing I was thinking about was when I die, I know loads of people online. If I was to die tomorrow, my mum wouldn't be able to contact anybody that I know online because she can't do it.
Yeah.
And it's not like I've got, I'm not sure she'd be able to contact any of my friends. Because she wouldn't know who they are, and they're all disparate and all over the place. So there is a service, I'm sure, that if you could do something and say, right, when I die, contact these people, they will let everybody know. And just like a messaging service, just so that you can tell people that it's happened, that it's, you know, and that's it. I'm sure there's a need for that, if not necessarily a market for it.
Yeah. There you go. I'm sure that comment from Ellie will cheer you right up.
I did see that, but yeah, you're right. It is. I mean, along with all of that, my best friend who I stream with has had cancer, blood cancer as well.
I had a friend, like leukemia type thing.
Leukemia, yeah.
I got a friend that has been through, and I'm not. All I know is. And I've had this conversation with family members too. If I get diagnosed with, unless it's something very easily treated, I would not put myself through most cancer treatments. I would just ask for palliative care. I've had a good time. Make sure I'm not in pain, and I'll keep having a good time.
Yeah, it's pretty nasty. A lot of people say the treatment's worse than the actual disease.
Well, my friend went through one bout of treatment, and another one. And then he was okay for a little, but he didn't have much of a quality of life. And then it came back, and he didn't even want to have the third, I don't think. And he got talked into it by loved ones. Yeah. And I just, and having seen that, I've seen other people go through it too, and I made my decision, and I've spoken to those that are close to me about it, and just gone, look, just be aware. I go to the doctor, and they go, it's this type of cancer. I'm going to ask them genuinely what the options are, but I'm not likely to accept any form of chemo or radiotherapy. And I will probably just ask for palliative care. So I don't want to be in pain. That's the end of it.
50% of the population is going to suffer from cancer.
Yes. Yeah.
At least.
If you live long enough and you're a male, you're going to have prostate cancer.
Yeah. Yeah. So we really should be thinking about these things, but obviously it's fairly morbid and we don't like to.
But I think don't we all live too fucking long anyway? And
well,
as called Empire of Death, so
yeah, the unpleasant situation. If you're talking about your own death, you're at least you have the imagination that you have a little bit of control over it. But when you're presented with the sudden death or the sudden or one people you love more than everybody else just escaped, and you don't have any control over it, that's a situation that are really hard to come over. And just free advice for everybody. Even if you have a plan A, B, C, if you lose your phone or whatever, if your car burns out and you just escape with your clothes on, you better have a machine somewhere that have logged into your Google account recently, because if not, you're quite fucked. Or somebody who has a little bit of criminal energy.
He said someone has a brain.
Make sure
from German to English.
Stay close to people that got criminal energy. It's quite useful sometimes.
Yep.
Actually, what's funny, I spent some time learning how to pick locks, because many years ago, true story, I got locked out of a van. It pissed me off. My brother got me in the end. Never had the last of that. Anyway, years later, and I came across some lock picking tutorials and started learning. And I can do some basic. I can't do a lot of, but most things I can do the quick hacks and stuff on and get into. And several times I've helped people get into their houses, and in the moment I've done it, it has made them shit themselves that they realize just how ineffective their so-called 5-lever Chubb security lock is.
They are.
When I can open it in just a minute or two. I mean, it's like, and you don't have to drill it, and you don't have to do anything else. You can no damage. And
I never did it myself, but obviously with Dad being a magician, I knew people.
That's kind of how I got into it. I knew David Duval when he was alive, and he sent me booklets and stuff, and that got me started. And then and these days, you want to learn to pick locks, just go to YouTube. Honestly, the tutorials on there for free.
The lock picking attorney is amazing.
Yeah. But there was a thing today. I turned up for a meeting at a place where we have a meeting on a Friday morning, and I've done this several times because they got a door code to get in, and our door code works from 12:45. But quite often we're in the car park at 12:30. We don't want to wait outside. So people know I know how to jimmy the door, and it does. I go up to this door where it's got this high security thing on it and whatever, and it takes me. I can do it in about 3 seconds now. The first time it took me about 20-30 seconds. 3 seconds and I'm in. And they're like, what's funny, they've tried to copy me and they can't do it. But just go to practice. You just got practice.
Well, I'd better disappear because I'm going to have to go and get ready for the final episode of Doctor Who this year.
Enjoy that. And we will look forward to catching up with you soon. Thanks so much for
I give you the clap.
And I will have at some point some data about making YouTube videos in the early years, which is maybe going to go into a course at some point. It depends if I can get that off the ground. It's also entirely possible that
just
get
another
some
note,
very quickly after this
another public service announcement. The moment Steve's product is on the market, buy it, because it's one of the few vendors you always get quality.
Oh, you're going to get good value.
Thank you very much. Yeah. It's very kind of. Right. I'll see you all next week.
Take care. Have a good one.
Adios. So, guess what I've been working on?
Let me think.
While talking on here.
Oh, could it be ClickFunnels? You've been on ClickFunnels? No. Convertri, you've been on there? No.
I've been on SASET.
Yeah.
I've been on Zapier.
And have you been on
Pabbly.
And have you been on anything that begins with an S?
No, but ultimately it is for that. What I'm doing is I'm making a way that I could put in a SASET, the name of the product, description of the product, my affiliate link, an image URL, and it automatically gets to date. And then it submits that to Pabbly. Pabbly sends that over to a Google Sheet. Pabbly is not good at cannot create an RSS feed. But you go over to Zapier. Zapier's trigger is new entry on a Google Sheet, and then it creates an RSS feed item. And now my affiliate link is in an RSS link, which I can include anywhere else.
Love it. That's excellent. Love it. Right.
Yeah.
I need a bathroom break. I'll be right back.
All right.
Only in Marketing Raw you see live niffling.
It's actually quite fun. I had to take, because Zapier doesn't do good at putting in information into Google Sheets. It doubles it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, okay, I'll use Pabbly because I know that works. But Pabbly, you can't make an RSS feed. I asked him, do you guys create RSS feeds? Oh, yeah, we work with RSS feeds. I was like, no. You don't understand the English I'm speaking. I want you to be able to create an RSS feed. Crickets. So I went over to Zapier because I know I could do it in Zapier. And I still have an account there.
Probably because Pabbly is Indian and they have a different version of English.
Perhaps.
Ah.
I am standing again beside myself. Anyway.
Yeah. Mr. Crowley.
That's it. I could try to do all of my impersonations once. Or twice.
They all sound the same anyway, don't they?
Yeah,
exactly. They all sound like I'm talking German.
Is that German? I thought it was
That's a drunk German.
No.
And I'm not even drinking yet.
Drunk German sounds different.
Yes. Let's not make Friday Night Marketing Raw the new home of casual racism.
Oh, man. It's crazy. It's casual nationalism. There's a difference.
Is there really? Well, you got a question in chat. What about Integrately?
Never looked at it, so I can't give you an honest answer about that.
What is it? Is that another one of these sort of Pabbly Zapier dingy dongy?
Yeah. And to me, I'm just going to say this. It's like web form builders or website builders. You don't have to have them all. But I knew what I could do inside of Zapier, and I knew what was missing from Pabbly.
That's the
My
thing.
preferred is Pabbly.
Yeah, absolutely. I normally, and that's the trick. It's sometimes you just have to go a different route, and some like having that extra tool in your toolbox.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes that multi-set of screwdriver thing doesn't quite work. You need the dedicated Phillips head,
right?
You know.
Or it's a hex head, not a Torx head. Or a Torx head, not a hex head. For all you crafty people out there would understand that.
Basically, you just need a hammer, and then it's in.
Well, I'm a Marine. Everything's a nail. Everything is a nail. Anyway. So you want me to show this off?
Yes.
It's actually quite cool. So, boom. Let me come over here.
I'm going to make it full screen as well.
All right. So I'm added. So what I'm doing is I created a Google sheet called Launch Deals. And I gave a header of name, description, URL, image URL, and date. That's it. That's all I was looking for. And then I went over to Pabbly and I created a webhook. And the webhook was put inside of Sasset. And you put in the product name. Let me just go ahead and click back on this real quick. Now to go to the tag list. So I have name, description, URL, image URL. The date comes from the system value. And then I have the webhook where it sends these data points to. And then I do a restart, which comes to clear, and it clears out all of the other tags. That's all it does.
Nice.
So it's very simple. Let me go ahead and I'll come to clear. So advanced function, it clears all those tags. And then name, enter in the name of the product, description of the product, made it a multi-line text editor. And then the URL, made sure to make this just a web address, text entry, very simple. Image URL, did the exact same thing, made sure it's a web address. Date, I did a system value short date. Boom, done. That's what I wanted. And then here's the webhook, and it's sending all the information to this webhook. And it got the response. There's the URL, boom, which is my affiliate link. Name, Sasset, image URL. I just found the image URL on Google. You know why I went to Google to find one? I know it's hot linkable. Description, date, done. We have all of that information. And then I tell it, okay, go to this Google sheet, go to the sheet 1, put in name, description, URL, image URL, and date. That's it. And then it puts it all in this form right here. Done. So now I come on over to Zapier. And what I'm looking for is a new entry on a spreadsheet row on that spreadsheet. And then it creates the actual RSS feed for me. The feed URL, it gives me that URL, which is, this is the URL it gives me. So this is my RSS feed. As you see, it was doubling and doubling. I'm like, that's just nuts. Why is it doubling? Went over to Pabbly, it works just fine. And then it entered in the information, grabbed the information, and created that feed. Once that feed's done, now what I can do is this feed, I'm going to grab that feed, copy, come on over to app.snapify.com, and I'm going to click on this one and edit, click on page elements, add RSS feed, put in that RSS feed, testing my affiliate URLs. Click save. It's the second from the top. I'm going to get rid of this one. View it. Testing my affiliate URLs. There's the image, name, and description. And if you click it, it goes to my affiliate link directly. Simple as that.
So you're one iteration already ahead what you showed me before.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yep. So it just makes it a lot easier for me to create a bunch of sites saying these are the products that I like at that point in time and update those sites like that. Just by filling out one form. Automation at its best.
Nice. And the only other thing I want to share with people that might be watching, I'm going to put a link in the chat.
Yes.
Is my new free cheat sheet. I've updated the cache curation cheat sheet that I used to sell, and there's now a 2024 edition, and it is available for nothing, and the link is there.
Cache.snapify.com.
Also, a good demonstration of how you can use Snapify to build dynamic cheat sheets. And Ellie, to answer your question, we have we had a quick look, but we haven't mentioned it on our live since. But we will look at it on Wednesday on the midweek musing.
Right. I think did we look at it the Friday before?
We looked at it on a show, and then Eddie's made some changes since, and we'll go back and revisit it. I was gonna do it today, and we just didn't have time. And so I didn't get to it. So we will. It is on the list to be looked at, and we'll get to that on Wednesday. Yeah. So, and that is it for live streaming for us for tonight. What a great live stream it's been. A couple of guests came on, plenty to chat about. We've talked about supermarkets, marketing science. We've talked about.
If you want to join us, because we may be here for a little while longer, the link is in the chat. Click on it. You can join us in here.
Yeah. And you can join us even if you can't be on camera now or whatever. If you want to come and join us, you can do. We don't mind. I don't know how much longer we will be here, but we are going to end the stream. Thank you so much for tuning in and being here. And I'm sorry we didn't get to, look at what's grot and what's not, or even go take a trip to Munchai. But those things are only in the bag if we ever need them.
I've missed the first few minutes. Did David Kirby get his money back?
Well, that's you missed that. Well, for those that missed it, as a special treat, we'll end with this. We will end with.
Has George Wigan given David Kirby his money back yet?
No.
No, of course he fucking hasn't. And that was.
Has George Wigan given David Kirby his money back yet?
We'll see you all next week for another cracking Friday night marketing raw. Bye.